SAR to me, in one word, implies openness.
Masoret.
Different.
Interesting.
Unique.
Positive.
Kind.
Magical.
Energy every second of the day.
Celebrations.
Ruach.
Life.
Israel. Hebrew.
Creativity.
Community.
Support.
Inclusiveness. Closeness.
SAR is spectacular.
Awesome.
Successful.
It's beautiful.
SAR in one word is an experience.
SAR is amazing.
A miracle.
Independence.
Potential.
Challenge.
The best. Well, that's 2 words.
Growth. Freedom.
Future.
Giving.
Safety.
Warmth. Love.
SAR is friends. SAR is fun.
Joyousness.
Family.
SAR is home.
Welcome everyone to SAR's 50th Jubilee celebration. What a spectacular journey. My name is Zev, and tonight, Shira and I will be your hosts.
So embarrassing. I was hoping they would do my high school yearbook, but nope, 8th grade it is. Please join us as we kick off the evening with Hatikva and the Star Sprinkled Banner, followed by performances by the Academy and high school choirs. Please rise.
I love the SAR choir. Shout out to Rabbi Birnbaum and Mr. Glazer. Like many of you, Shira and I grew up at SAR. We both had siblings who attended the school, and we both came back to work at SAR after we graduated college. You could say we are SAR for life.
SAR has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. And now, my 3-year-old Zoe also attends SAR. The special thing is that every time I drop Zoe off at school, I know I'm putting her in the hands of passionate and creative teachers. I get that same feeling of warmth and excitement I did so many years ago. SAR, it's not just what you learn, it's who you become.
Not only are the academics incredible, the role models and values of the school have truly made me the person I am today. I can vividly remember standing on the steps of the academy on Yom HaZikaron as Rabbi Cohen recited the Kel Malei Rachamim for the fallen soldiers of the IDF. I remember dancing our hearts out every Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom Yerushalayim in the high school gym, and how connected we felt to all of Am Yisrael. SAR is about values. SAR lives and breathes Tzionut and Yahadut.
We are so fortunate to have Rabbi Hartzark and Rabbi Krause leading our SAR community. They lead by example in their creativity, humility, kindness, and partnership. It is my honor to invite Rabbi Hartzark and Rabbi Krause to address us.
Shavua Tov. What an honor it is to be standing here tonight to celebrate the past 50 years and to look forward to a bright future together with so many people who represent what SAR is all about.
We would like to thank our dinner chairs, Dana and Mark Jason, Michelle and David Levine, Brachi and Ari Sprung, Ariel and Josh Wiener. To our journal chairs, Beth Shalev and Adrian Goldfeder-Turak. And to our catering chairs, Leora Kulak and Risa Torkin. Thank you for being such models of collaborative lay leadership at its best.
Thank you to our professional staff who worked on every detail of this event. Heidi Greenbaum, Deborah May, Sarah Hassan, Heidi Kane, Rachel Spinner, and Josh Lewis. We hope we didn't miss anybody, but we are certainly appreciative of all the efforts that you make every single day. We were asked to be short and funny. I will cover the short.
That kind of puts me outside of my comfortable limits.
Truly consistent with our mission, maybe we can play your recent Maccabee rap.
Oh, no. They said they were going to play 3 seconds of that. Well, right back at you.
Don't forget to daven 3 times a day. And break no excuse not to pray. And if it snows next week, that's not cool. Who needs a snow day when there is no school? Unless, of course, you choose to ski. Go rent your gear from Pedigree.
I will say you definitely win in the wardrobe category.
Well, trying to have a growth mindset. I heard you talk about that a lot in the academy.
Our script reads, please stop trying to be funny now, in case you missed it. We read this morning, V'haya ki shalcha bincha machar lemor mazot, a pasuk so central at the Pesach Seder. And this pasuk articulates so much of what we've always believed in. First, yishalcha, we encourage questions, wondering about the world, challenging the status quo, and trying to make a difference. Second, bincha, relationships between people and between generations, between people who live with different experiences but try to share and pass on the same values. And then machar, always looking to machar, looking positively forward to a tomorrow that is strong and that is bright. And finally, mazot, actually the question attributed to the Tam, to the simple son, but one that articulates modesty, openness, and an understanding that not all can be easily understood. To me, the pillars of this institution are relationships, positivity, and integrity. For 50 years, our faculty has built positive relationships with students. We have tried to foster a culture that focuses on the positive and looks forward. And we have tried our best to lead with integrity, acknowledging our successes and our shortcomings, and being open to reflection.
And so I found myself looking towards next week's parasha. In Parshat B'Shalach, we will read of Kriyat Yam Suf, the splitting of the Reed Sea. On the heels of that miraculous event, the Jewish people sang to God, Az Yashir Moshe Uvnei Yisrael. In our daily liturgy, this has been called Shira Chadasha, a new song. Shira Chadasha Shibchu Geolim L'Shimcha Hagadol Al Sfat Hayam. Rav Huttner explained that it was not just the song itself that was new. It was the very concept of singing to Hashem. According to our tradition, we discovered at that very moment the capacity of human beings to infuse the world with spirit and song in praise of God. And if ever there was a school that was shaped by a Shira Chadasha, by that spirit of song, it is SAR. And it is not only prayer that is referred to as song, but the Torah itself. In Parshat Vayelech, we are taught to write a Torah. Kitvu lachem et hashira hazot, lamda et bnei Yisrael, sima befihem. Our central text of learning is called a Shira. When Jews learn, it should be with our minds and our bodies and our soul. That is the way the Torah and Tefillah is brought to life at SAR.
I have spent a third of my life at SAR. 3 years as a student and 14 as principal. When I arrived in 1981, my principal was Rabbi Sheldon Schwartz, Zichrono Livracha. My associate principal and my bus driver from Queens was Rabbi Yonah Fuld. And then in the 8th grade, my Gemara teacher and associate principal is Rabbi Joel Cohn. To this day, the Torah and the values that I learned from these giants have informed the way I think, and I feel both intimidated and privileged to be charged, together with my amazing colleagues, of making sure that SAR remains the place where our core values have not changed.
Well, I have spent now basically half of my life at SAR. This is year 26 for me. That Rabbi Cohn, the most thoughtful educator around, asked me to work with him and to try to fill his shoes as assistant principal. That was, at the time, beyond reason to me. As a young married, relatively new member to the Krauss family, I had the pleasure of listening to Rabbi Fuld and Rabbi Cohn describe learning at SAR, telling their stories, always rich in humor, in wisdom, and in the deep understanding of children. To me, they were the superheroes of Jewish education. I know I'm not supposed to overlap with things that Rabbi Krauss said, but in this instance, it's just true. I felt the same thing. I felt and still feel both intimidated and privileged to be charged with preserving, nurturing, and growing the educational spirit that is SAR. Rabbi Fuld, Rabbi Cohn, can you please rise so we can express our hakarat hatov to you for all that you mean to us? And I ask, please remain standing for another moment as we pay tribute and remember the founding educational leader of SAR, Rabbi Sheldon Schwartz, Zichrono Livracha. Please be seated.
It is no coincidence that all of our principals made Aliyah immediately after they're leaving their positions at SAR. A little pressure. Is there a more meaningful and real way to articulate the values that we teach than by living those values and settling in Medinat Yisrael?
They join so many of our alumni who have made their mark in Israel in the fields of education, entertainment, business, and politics. A few years ago, we honored over 20 alumni who were then serving at that time in the IDF, and they attributed so much of who they are to their experience at SAR. At the high school, we now have over 100 graduates who have made Aliyah and have settled in Medina. I'm getting older. And have settled in Medinat Yisrael.
Rabbi Fold and Mary, when Ari was killed the week of Yom Kippur, the pain was felt by all of Medinat Yisrael. You shared that you never experienced the pain of Eretz Yisrael, Nitneit B'Yisurin. Israel is acquired through pain until that moment. Those Yisurin are hard for us to truly imagine, and we hope that the incredible outpouring of love, recommitment to the Medina, and stories of heroism that continue to come out every day have brought some measure of nechama. This Monday, as we continue to celebrate SAR at 50 in school, we will have a Hachnasat Sefer Torah at SAR Academy, a Torah anonymously donated to SAR in memory of Ari Zichrono Livracha. We hope that this lasting memory of Ari and all that he and you stand for will strengthen the messages that you taught your own children and so many SAR students who you treated as your children, who love you and respect you.
We must express Hakarat HaTov to two more groups of people. These are the pillars upon which this institution thrives. These are the ones who make this institution truly unique. To the SAR Board of Trustees, led by Jack Bentheim, and the lay community leaders and members of SAR, we are so grateful to you. For your empowering leadership. Your vision and strength have opened a space that allows a remarkable team of educators to shape a modern Orthodox education that is deep and inspiring, committed, and open. And to the amazing SAR Academy and SAR High School faculty. SAR kids spend their day with faculty, teachers, and administration who infuse the school day with shira, with spirit and song, with faculty who love them, care for them, and think about them as parents think about their own children. The SAR faculty bring together the joy of learning and love for their students in the most inspiring way. To all of you, we are deeply grateful.
Ta me'ayin bata, know from where you come. As we celebrate 50 years of SAR, it is important for all of us, students, faculty, parents, to recognize that the institution we all love is the result of the vision of a small group of people and the graceful execution of that vision by a small but bold and forward-thinking community.
We moved here in 1958, and Riverdale was like a small moshav. It was like a small community. There was Riverdale School, there was the Salanta School and Akiva School, and we heard everybody was looking to grow. There was a meeting in our house, in our living room, where my father said, look, it's very easy. We'll call it Salanta, Akiva, and Riverdale.
You have to visualize the difficulties and taking three entirely different schools and combine them.
The Jesselsons and the Langs put up the finances for it. Yitz Greenberg did our educational thing.
That was really the breakthrough in that we finally sold the idea that instead of bringing all three schools together with the different varieties and with the different problems, that we should try to invent one new school from scratch. And that really opened the door to the whole idea of SAR.
The beauty of SAR is when you walk in, that you see the children doing different things in different areas, which they like to do and which they're being led to do.
One of the things I remember, Yitz was then lecturing around the country, and he always had his eye out for a good principal. And he found Rabbi Schwat, who was the first principal of the joint school, and that made a huge difference.
Rabbi Schwat really developed this whole atmosphere of taking teachers and opening them up, training new teachers, developing this sense of colleague and partnership and mutual respect.
They decided to go with an open school system as a result of Rabbi Greenberg, together with educational people, going around surveying schools in America, and they suggested it. And again, to emphasize this collaborative spirit, no one opposed it. Because as I said jokingly, if you would take my father who was German, or my uncle who was Swiss, I assure you they didn't go to open schools in Germany and in Switzerland.
Lee and Webb brought the idea of an open school. That was the whole point of the movement. It was trying to take down the walls so that the teachers wouldn't stand and the kids wouldn't sit in one place the whole time, but they'd be free to go to the library, free to do their own research, free to break into smaller groups, and the teachers would move from lecturers to enablers.
And you can go into any classroom at SAR in any year or any decade, and you'll find that incredible quality of teachers loving their students.
And then there was something else that I think the open school allowed. It allowed this sense of community also. In other words, everybody was part of a larger school.
I've never seen children so happy to come to school as they do when I see them on their way to SAR.
I often think what Mr. Jesselson and my husband would feel today, what they have accomplished. I mean, that is unbelievable. They would never in a million years expected the school to grow the way it did, and that we have a high school too.
50 years ago, my grandparents and the founders wanted to build a school that kids can be passionate about Judaism and Israel, and today I really feel like that's happening.
A lot has changed in 50 years, but actually what I think makes this school so special is the fact that its core has not changed, that the fundamental values have not changed, that those personalities who taught me and led this school when I was a kid, Rabbi Schwat, Zichrono Livracha, Rabbi Fold, and Rabbi Cohn, their values are still present.
What has inspired me about SAR as an institution from the moment I got here, what is now a long time ago, is that as successful as it was already then, it was always looking to do better, to continue to grow. That on its own, the founders of this institution deserve enormous tribute, and I express my own hakarat tov to people who made that happen starting 50 years ago and over the course of these years. And I have a tremendous sense of optimism and inspiration that the next 50 years will bring more of the same.
We would like to ask Lucy Lang, Michael and Danny Jesselson, Rabbi Yitzhak Blue Greenberg, to please rise as we express our hakarat tov to our founders for having a dream and turning that dream into an incredible reality. We take so much pride that you are surrounded tonight by rows, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, students of SAR, connected to SAR, and who love SAR so much, and we thank you. We hope that future generations of SAR students will learn from you about modesty and about giving to others. This stucco box, that one, to be permanently installed at the new SAR ELC, hopefully really soon, in your honor, will allow them to learn generosity from you.
When one contributes tzedakah to this unique box, one is reminded of both the miracle of Hashem's creation and of the privilege and blessing of giving. Hands, head, and heart are drawn together in pursuit of this beautiful, life-affirming mitzvah. It is now my honor to introduce the founding visionary of this wonderful institution, Rabbi Yitz Greenberg.
So Blue and I are deeply grateful for this evening, for SAR, and for all the love, respect, and honor with which we've been showered, not just tonight, but all through the years. But truly the lion's share of this honor goes to the founders, led by Ludi and Erica Jesselson and Edmund Lang, Zichronam Livracha, and Tibadel L'Chaim, Lucy Lang, and a host of others, many of whom are no longer in our midst, but whose contributions and personal models are unforgettable. And Blue and I are grateful to Hashem to be alive at this 50th anniversary celebration, to acknowledge your gratitude on their behalf. SAR Academy is the outcome of a classic Jewish paradigm of rebuilding and renewal. The Jewish neighborhoods of the Bronx were disintegrating while Riverdale was developing, and Rabbi Jack Sable, Zichrono Livracha, founded Riverdale Hebrew Day School. But the Salanter and Akiba schools were shrinking rapidly and were considering moving to Riverdale to save themselves from collapsing, but with little hope for success. And as true statesmen, Ludi and Edmund said, we must do what's good for the whole Jewish community, not just for our little school. We should try to help those schools and save what we can by merging with them and making one school in Riverdale. And there were many difficulties to overcome. They weren't easy negotiations. And to win them over at the end, Edmund gave the presidency of the United School to Ted Einstein of Akiva, while Ludi gave the chairmanship of the executive committee to Joseph Kahn of Salanter, even though the two of them knew that they would have to be the main funders and the main activists for the school. And of course, they gave them priority in the name, hence Salanter Akiva Riverdale School Academy. Now, to maximize the advantage and the value of the merger, it was decided to create a new school from scratch, an ideal religious school. That was our dream, an ideal religious school based on the core principle of the whole Torah, that the human being is created b'tselem Elokim. Every human being, irrespective of race, religion, gender, descent, bank account, is wondrous, godlike. That is, an image of God. And the Mishnah in Sanhedrin 37a defines b'tselem Elokim. By dint of being an image of God, every person
is born with three inalienable dignities: infinite value. That's why saving one life is an infinity, is equivalent to saving a whole world with billions of infinities. Every Tselem Elokim is equal. Every image of God is equal to every other and should be treated accordingly. And uniqueness, every person, each person is special and should be listened to, should be educated, should be treated accordingly. So that was our dream, to create a school that would treat each child as an image of God. And we asked ourselves, can we find teachers so loving, so talented, that they would bring out the uniqueness of each child, stimulate their creativity, nurture their capacity for kindness and for relationship? And we said it should be a school with cutting-edge techniques that would honor and uphold that principle of Tselem Elokim. In fact, after a parents' meeting for our daughter Deborah's preschool, the head mistress of that school had returned from a sabbatical, spent studying, and she reported on her study of the open school movement in England. So Blue came home with this idea of a school with no walls. She said it breaks up the rigid classroom. It allows the kids to sit on the floor in small groups. It allows them to do their own research in the library, to get up and run around if they need a release, to go to the bathroom without raising your hands. I'd like to tell one more story about that open school and that magnificent building we have, because we appreciate our founders. The building committee commissioned an architect, and they began to develop plans. They spent quite a bit of money already. And they came in with a plan that was really nondescript, mediocre. I'm not sure how to describe it. My first reaction when I saw it was, that'd be great for a factory. And I was already heartbroken. I didn't know what to do. And Blue said to me, go to Liddy and Erica. Erica, particularly, as you know, had this tremendous interest in the aesthetic and the art of the school. And I went to them and I showed them the plans. I said, is this the building you want for your school? And he thought for a minute, and then Liddy said, go out and get another architect. I'll take care of these costs. The chairman of the building committee complained to me, he said, over $100,000, he wasn't going to back out anymore. He said, I'll take care of it. You go ahead and get another architect. And as you all know, that second architect, they not only put it on the hill so it would see and face that beautiful river, but they, of course, created and saved the green space. As you may know, the building, in fact, won the Urban and Architecture Award that year when it was opened for New York City. The rest is history. We dreamed that SAR would exemplify the spirit of a modern Orthodox religious school. That meant a commitment to the highest quality of secular education and a positive relationship, I would say loving relationship, with American culture. It also meant a deep commitment to Zionism, due to the centrality of Israel to our people and the deep attachment to the land of Israel in our Torah. And to this day, as you saw, SAR has this high rate of gap year Israel study, of lone soldier volunteers, of graduates who live in Israel. And each of our principals has taught by example, by making Aliyah. So to define our religious values, we made 4 commitments from the beginning. One, that mitzvot ben adam lachavero, ethics, would be as central as ritual observance as they are together in the Torah. Secondly, that chesed, act of loving kindness, whether it's visiting the Hebrew home for the aged, or packing packages for soldiers, or volunteering for soup kitchens. This would be a core practice. And thirdly, that arts, music, drama, and student creativity would be nurtured and treasured as part of a whole person, and to express Yahadut, Judaism's joyful embrace of life. And that's one of the most beautiful things about SAR, is a place of joy. And our kids love to go there. And finally, we committed to equal education. And that included advanced Gemara learning for girls. By the way, that was one of the toughest part of the negotiations. And decades later, SAR has pioneered in women teaching Talmud and serving as principals of Limudei Kodesh. So I want to say that we are eternally grateful to Jack and Giddy Benheim and to Lou Bravman and all the dedicated lay leaders who have, I wish I could say all the names that deserve it, who have led SAR to greatness, even as they steadfastly upheld and nurtured these core principles for 50 years now. You have kept SAR on the path of excellence during a time when many modern Orthodox institutions retreated to closed minds, or built walls between us and other kinds of Jews, or yielded to narrower definitions of what's a legitimate religious role for a woman. Now, I want to say personally, it's easier to conceptualize a school like SAR than it is to realize it. And tonight, all of us joyfully acknowledge the amazing people who actually brought SAR into being, our principals, and the extraordinary faculty they recruited and trained. And Rabbi Sheldon Schwartz, Zichrono Livracha, and his successors created this culture. They partnered with teachers to enable rather than lecture, to treat students as equals, as unique, to recognize and help them develop at their own pace. And Rabbi Schwartz showed a living example of discipline based on kindness and respect. And he famously said every year, the students come in with a love for learning and great curiosity and desire to create. Let's not kill it. His amazing successors, Yonah Fuld, Joel Cohn, Binny Krause, kept the magic growing. And each has made a towering and unique contribution. And after them, Tully Hartstar created a high school with a grand conversation and student creativity and initiative and chesed and Zionism and learning and truth. And we are equally grateful to all the associate principals. Again, I wish I could list them all, but starting with Audrey Shergan, Zichrono Livracha, and Millie Rosner and Marsha Jacobowitz, and too many others to mention, but they're listed in your brochure. All together have created a school that's a joy to attend, that students come back to visit year after year for decades, or send their own children. And it's beautiful that there are so many of you here tonight. Equally astonishing is that our faculty is so dedicated, so loving, so creative, so self-renewing, that these many forms of excellence have continued. Thousands of children have been treated and educated and have become true images of God, devoted Jews, ethical Americans, responsible adults. Now, for all of this excellence, I also must acknowledge a tragic failure. This year, an investigation showed that 4 decades ago, we had a faculty member who abused students. He was not prevented from acting, and although he was sent away, he was not held accountable for his actions. We failed to protect those students, and we feel that pain. We feel their pain. This is a sin for which there is no forgiveness, and even if thousands more were treated right, this is no consolation. Each child is of infinite value, so this is an infinite failure. We have taken strong steps to ensure this will never happen again, and we will keep this painful memory before us constantly to spur us to love more deeply, to nurture more richly, to embrace life more fully for every student at SAR today and tomorrow. So allow me a personal note of closing. Among the many projects that Blue and I have undertaken in our lives, no project has given us such spiritual reward and unalloyed nachas as SAR. In no other case was the work overwhelmingly done for us and for our benefit by so many other people, and with total devotion and talent. Of course, the greatest reward was that our children, including David and Goody, who came in from Israel to be here tonight, all our children, and then our grandchildren were educated, nurtured, and inspired by SAR. And it's our great joy that our daughter Deborah is active in the school now, representing our family values in action in the school. And of course, we can never forget and can never repay the loving dedication of the SAR High School to the memory of our son JJ Zichrono Livracha. So know that our hearts are full of love and respect and honor for all of you. To all of you whose tireless work, giving, participation has made SAR a magical mishkan, a sanctuary of life, learning, community, and growth that it is. Going forward, this is our bracha and this is our prayer. May it be Hashem's will that the Shekhinah be present in the fruit of your work. May the sweet graciousness of Hashem rest upon us, and may Hashem establish and uphold the work of our hands now and forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Greenberg. We have had the opportunity to hear about the founding of SAR and the amazing individuals who brought this dream to fruition. Each of us has our own connection to SAR, and together, these connections make the SAR community. I'm going to throw out a few categories. If the category fits your connection to SAR, please stand up and remain standing. Stand up if you are a current or past SAR staff member.
Stand up if you attended SAR in the 70s.
Stand up if you attended SAR in the 80s.
Stand up if you attended SAR in the 90s.
Stand up if you attended SAR in the 2000s.
Stand up if you attended SAR in the 2010s.
Stand up if you are an alumnus or a SAR parent or parent of an alumnus.
Stand up if you are an SAR grandparent.
And finally, stand up if SAR made an impact on your life or on the life of someone you love.
Wow, how incredibly powerful. Look at this crowd.
I could not be prouder to be part of this community. Please take your seats as we continue our spectacular journey for just a bit longer.
If you go to someone's house for Shabbos with a few friends and they say, where do you go to? Okay, I go to this school, I go to that school. When you say you go to SAR, there's like a
I remember moving into the new building. I remember the first class, 4th level down on the right-hand side, and it was loud, but it was great.
When I started at SAR, it was small. We were a family. My principal, Rabbi Schwat, lived on my corner. And you would think it has grown so much, and you walk in and you still have the same feeling.
Kids are running and they're smiling, they're happy, they're hugging everyone. They really feel like this is their home.
And that's just what's so special about SAR, that once you walk in the door, you never want to walk out.
SAR started as an elementary school, really thinking about how we can most excitingly, progressively, thoughtfully educate kids through 8th grade. And at some point, we were saying, well, we can go beyond that. And I really felt it as a responsibility to try to figure out how to take those principles and to make them live on a high school level.
In the essence, nothing has changed. The core values of the school are very, very much intact. Everybody has a place in SAR, and no matter what your background is, everybody has potential.
that we wanted the system of the open classroom educationally, and also for many reasons architecturally.
I think the open architecture lends itself to collaboration and communication and a real sense of community amongst children and faculty and families that you can't get in any other school.
I like how there's no walls because it feels like you're in a community. I could hear the other classes learning.
Of course, the building has changed a lot over the years, but actually the look and the feel and the main part of the building, those steps in front of my office, I slid down those banisters and these kids slide down these banisters. The feeling and the atmosphere and the culture, I don't think has changed very much.
The things that SAR stands for is children. Giving them that sense of self-confidence, that sense that I can do this, that sense that I can be part of this community, that everybody has something to contribute.
There's a passion that's felt inside the classroom, in the hallways. People are excited to come to school, to stay after school, and they really love being here.
SAR is a place that fosters, nurtures, and even demands kindness.
2 weeks ago, we had our first breakfast run for the year where we served food and clothing to the homeless, and we actually had 2 alumni join us, come back just to join us for the experience and to be able to share their inspiration with the current students at SAR.
SAR gives to kids a certain understanding that education is very broad. It's not just knowledge, but it's also learning how to be the right type of a person.
I learned how to fight the good fight. We went out with Rabbi Fold and Rabbi Schwat to free Soviet Jewry, and today in Israel, I'm still involved in that battle.
SAR doesn't just teach its motto, but it lives its motto. You need to be a part of the grand conversation of how you're going to impact the Jewish community and what you're going to do in the short amount of time that you have on this earth.
We are a values-driven institution with a lot of conviction, strong ideology, and yet at the same time there's a balance with tremendous openness.
That was another core value of SAR. It wasn't individuals, it wasn't teachers individually or principals. It was a team that worked together and had an ideal, and thank God the consistency bore results.
One of the things as a trademark of an SAR education is recognizing that every student, every person is a world.
SAR is about children being in an environment of love and warmth and safety where they can stretch and grow to be the best that they can be.
Definitely my experience as a songwriter was intertwined with my musical experience in SAR, thanks to Avshalom Katz. How excited we were to come to music class and to be in the choir was the highlight of our lives. When I was 12 years old, Avshalom decided that I needed to record my songs professionally, and he took me to a professional studio.
History class was a way to challenge yourself and to challenge others. Gemara class wasn't just to learn a daf Gemara, but it was to explore how did these people come to the opinions that they hold in this Gemara. Every class was designed to embolden you to think outside the box.
There's a very big place for people to become who they want to be. Like it's not who you are, it's who you become.
My favorite thing about SAR is inclusiveness and how everyone belongs, and how everyone's able to feel comfortable.
What we try to do here is not tell kids where to go. We try to allow them to figure out where they're going and to be a guide on the side, as they say. And we certainly hope that every student that graduates SAR knows where they're coming from and has a strong connection to their roots, and at the same time has the empowerment, feels the empowerment to figure out for themselves la'an him holchim.
SAR to me is a place in which Jewish children in America can learn to love the Torah, to love Am Yisrael, to love Medina Israel, and to love humanity.
Our rabbis tell us that Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. Judaism and the values that it hopes to impart cannot necessarily be done by one person, and maybe not even by one generation. And I think that our mission in life is to be able to educate so that the next generation will continue with the melacha, with the avodat hakodesh that we began.
I would like to see SAR at the forefront of establishing a Jewish community that is confident and proud and deeply rooted and thoughtful and open to what's happening in the world around them, and courageous to be able to engage all of that with pride.
This evening's program was a walk through time, and we're so grateful to those who built and sustained SAR for the first 50 years. This evening, we also extend our gratitude for the continuing leadership of our principals, Rabbi Benjamin Kraus and Rabbi Tully Hartstock. Through your dynamic leadership, SAR delivers the best in education, open to ideas, emerging methodologies of teaching, bringing constituents and communities together and building towards the next 50 years. From Hebrew immersion for our young students in the ELC, to our parent cohort of Machon Siach, from innovative STEM programming to thoughtful Israel education, from visits from dignitaries to meaningful time spent learning with grandparents, SAR is a constantly evolving community of learners from the youngest to the oldest. Our student body is strong, coming from over 15 different communities in the tri-state area. We are 830 families representing 1,500 students, and demand for SAR is higher than ever. We are planning for our future by building out the spaces we need to provide the SAR experience for the years to come. At SAR High School, we are almost finished adding 8,800 square feet of space to accommodate classrooms, a new Lifshitz Beit Knesset, a make space, and more. Construction has begun on a new 34,000 square foot state-of-the-art early learning center for our youngest students to begin their spectacular journey. We can't thank you enough for helping to bring these initiatives to fruition. It is you, our generous community, that says yes when called upon to meet the current needs and build for the future. Through your partnership, we are well on our way to funding over $5 million in tuition assistance for this year. That is what we do, living out a core value for helping one another and keeping every student at SAR. It is the best way to ensure Jewish continuity and the Torah values that matter. Through your partnership, we have grown our endowment and built for the future. As many of you know, this fall, Lou Brovman, here today, and one of the SAR founders as well, made a legacy gift to SAR establishing the Lottie Brovman Endowment Fund in memory of his wife, Lottie Brovman. With that initiative and the help of the UJA Matching Grant, we have increased our endowment from $4 million to $9 million over the past 3 years. And based on existing pledges, the effective value of the endowment will be over $12 million by 2022. Through your partnership, we have raised funds for our significant capital improvements. We have raised $5 million towards the $8 million goal for our current construction project, so no one should feel shy if they want to come to me tonight. We thank those who have already partnered with us and ask those who can to join us. We ask for your continued investment of time, talent, and resources to ensure that the spark in every student continues to be spectacular for many years to come. Thank you. The celebration continues with dinner upstairs in the ballroom.